Hey, buddy. Okay. Let's get started. We'll wait and see if anybody else comes in. They can just jump in. Let's talk first core values. Who wants to run them down?
They're not there.
No, they're not.
Win, win, or no deal. Wait. Commitment. I don't know what order they're in. Customers, commitment, integrity. Wait, there's 4 C's though. I'm trying to go in order. It's why 4 C 2 T. So there's 4 C's. So it's win, win, or no deal. Customers, commitment, creativity. What's the 4 C? I always forget this one. Communication. Wow, I should know that one. Teamwork. Trust.
Get it all?
No, that's not. Integrity.
Okay.
I can cheat. Equity and success.
Yeah, so win-win, integrity, customers, communication, creativity, teamwork, trust. Success.
I think that was teamwork. Thanks.
Yeah. So, yeah, well, it's not, I'm not going to test you. You shouldn't, but you should know, you should get comfortable with them, and the more that you buy in for yourself, commit to that process, you know, the more apt you'll be to, you know, commit to muscle memory, and then it'll just be reflective of who you are as an agent. So it's good to learn those and make them a part and make them the fabric of what you're doing. All right. We're going to switch things up a little bit because today at 2:30, Chris Keller will be doing a command training. And as such, we thought, well, what the heck, we might as well warm it up. So we're going to warm up, get you guys warmed up on command. We're not going to meet here for an hour. We're going to just jump into this, cover some basics, 20 minutes, 25 minutes, get your palate wet, and get you ready for Chris Keller at 2:30. There's a link available, so if you can't be here, you can get the link. We'll make sure you get it if you haven't already. But if you check our Facebook page, I believe it's there, our internal Facebook page. So you can log in there. So our internal Facebook page, 2:30, Chris Keller today. So we'll talk basics of command. Thursday starts the shift book club, 12:30 to 1. We'll also do one at 7:30 that evening as well. So there'll be 2. We'll do a recap of command this evening for anybody that's not available right now or has to dip out early from Chris Keller's training. We'll jump on and recap some of that too. Yeah.
Facebook.
Yeah. Facebook page, our internal one.
Yeah.
Let's make sure you get an invite. So let's get with Alana, she'll send you an invite. Okay. That goes for anybody watching too. If you're not on the Facebook page, get a hold of us, myself, or Alana at the front desk, and let's make sure you get an invite and get in there. Because there's a lot of information all the time, and that Facebook page is where most of it happens. We do get the weekly exclusive email every Monday morning at 8:02. You'll get an email as a recap, and it talks about the previous week and then what's coming up. That's every week we send that out. But the Facebook page is your, you know, real-time updates coming over. So today, this evening, Thursday and Thursday evening, those are your next, you know, major things that you want to make sure you try to make time to be a part of. If you can't, as always, go to our YouTube page. You can find them there. Links are available again, typically shortly after the training's closed. The classes closed, the discussions closed. Those recordings are available on the Facebook page, links to the YouTube. So plenty of areas of opportunity to dial in on all this content. Make sure you're taking advantage of it. Next week, I will be in Austin for leadership camp. Allie is going to be doing a discussion on RPR. For those of you who are not NAR registered yet, it's okay. But be a part of that class because it's going to get you prepared for learning how to use. If not, the actual tool what it means. Okay, market research, sellers report, data. It may sound like, oh God, data, that's gonna be boring. It's not. RPR is a cool, it's a pretty neat little tool.
It's super cool.
Yeah.
And crazy leverage.
Crazy leverage. So make sure that you dial in for that.
That's 12.
That's next, a week from today, yeah. Yep. If you can't be here for Allie's during the day, I will hopefully be able to do a Zoom. I don't think we have anything going on past 5 o'clock down there next week. So if we don't, I'll be jumping on Zoom at 7:30 for our weekly recap every Tuesday. Okay, so that's how it looks for the next week. Let's go ahead and dive into commanding. First, before we start, those of you in the room, anybody in this room, raise your hand if you have not logged into command yet. Okay. Have you received the questionnaire yet? Yes.
Yes.
Okay, did you fill it out and get the response?
Yeah. I filled it out.
Did you get a response email from them yet?
Yeah.
With your login information?
Yeah.
Okay, then get with me after class and let's walk through real quick how to get on, okay? First thing you do to log in, you navigate to agent.kw.com. Log in with your KW login credentials. If you do not, for some reason, have KW login credentials, that's fine. Just get with me so that I can get them. You know, if you like me lost your password, you can get the password or whatever, I can get it for you, okay? And then I can show you how to recover it. You can click the forgot password, go that route, but we could also go through Scott Leroy marketing support as well. Okay, so there's a couple different ways to get your login if you don't have it. All right, create a contact. Those of you who have logged on, who here has put some gas in their engine? Who's created some contacts? Yeah, okay, good. So you know how to add a contact. Top right corner, minimum, enter their name. But what should we have for a contact? Like, what information is imperative? Email, phone number,
Name and address.
name and address. Address is subject to like how important it's industry. If it's a listing one, obviously, right? But if you're a buyer, you know, if you're jammed up, like it's hard to fit all that stuff in a casual conversation, right? Oh, by the way, what's your name, address, telephone number, favorite color, and what's your favorite hobby? I mean, you know,
these are good.
astrological sign, that's an important one too. But in reality, you want to make sure you at least get their points of contact. Telephone number, cell phone number, and email, right? First and last name as well. But those are the most important jumping off points for you to put them in the pipeline. You have the rapport to get the rest of the information. You're that deep into the conversation already, then congratulations, you're on your way.
You know what I also do though, without having to be deep into the conversation, didn't mean to cut you off.
No.
Is social media is amazing and you can stalk people and almost everyone's on social media.
Allie.
God, you know, I stalk people. And so even if we haven't gone that deep into the conversation, so command will give you like a score on your database, and I don't want my score to be bad. Actually, at least last year was my score ranked really high in the office compared to other people's, because I'll go on and I'll find them on social media and I'll throw all of their tags onto my thing also just to keep my score going up, just, you know, and then what you can, that goes further, but so that's another thing. Yeah,
and she's right, we won't dive too deep into it because there is like also national do not call lists, right? We got to make sure we're not calling somebody that's not on a DNC list. So we got to make sure we're compliant in that regard. But if you're having a conversation with them, they're warmed up to you. Obviously, if you try them like 3 times over the span of 3 or 4 weeks, cool on a little bit. But you can get into command, load your contacts, at minimum have their name, email, and cell phone number, or do what Allie does and stalk them on Facebook.
Hey, my
social media stalker.
Score is up.
Click create. Now, we talked last week about, okay, great, you have all these contacts in your database. How many of them are actually opportunities? Well, so you click on the opportunities icon and create an opportunity from the top right of the screen. You don't have them in there as an opportunity. So we click on that, we click on an opportunity, we create it, you literally start typing their name in on the opportunity form, and it will give you a drop down from your contacts list. So you cannot create an opportunity until you have a contact. I'll say that again. You cannot create an opportunity until you have them in as a contact. So we go back to step 2, create that contact. Okay? Create that contact. Chris, I'm hoping, and I haven't had a chance to talk to her, but she's going to touch on how you can check your profile. You go into settings in the top right-hand corner of command. Click on your little icon at the top right-hand corner. There's a drop-down, click settings, go into your profile. Make sure your profile is up to date with all of your information. Your contact information is correct. Your office name is in there. So, that's important for touching on, when we get into creating, smart plans or campaigns. And if that information isn't correct, it won't translate in your campaign correctly. So she'll go a little bit deeper on that. For now, log in, create a contact, take that contact in and put them in as an opportunity. Okay? Basics. And I don't want to dive in. Okay, there's tags here. What are these tags in? Well, tags are different for everybody. If it's just a lead and you're creating a lead for the purpose of, them buying a house or selling a house, then, you want to make sure, come on now. You want to make sure that, let me share the right screen. You want to make sure that you're putting on the tag, the little tag in the corner, that it's a lead or their buyer or their seller, and there's a million of them. Yeah, there's a million of them. Like, that's why your sphere is never limited to just who's buying or selling a house. You can expand your sphere to include coworkers, vendors, so on and so forth. So go in and when you're in there in command and you're putting contacts in, play around with it a little bit. Take a look at what's important to you, what would be important to you if you're putting in somebody that you want to add to your contact list.
That was list of tags that George Kelly created.
Yes.
Just so you know what that looks like. What's going to make your contacts and your names more organized.
Yep. Yeah, and keep an eye out on the calendars for regional tech training with George. We're probably going to do some here soon. So keep an eye out for that. That's going to be coming up. Back to sharing.
There's always so much traffic. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. You made it. You made it in one piece. We're glad. That's good.
I gotta leave it like 1 o'clock.
At 1 o'clock, you're about 52 minutes late.
You mean 2 o'clock?
2 o'clock?
I'm sorry. No, like, yeah, go to your house or wherever. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
I thought you had to leave here at 1. I was like, wait, hold on.
Yeah.
So play with those tags and she said George had some. Go to KW Connect. I can't reference KW Connect enough. If you don't know something, can't get a hold of one of us, can't get a hold of another agent to ask a question. You have Scout Your Way Marketing's YouTube channel is a great resource, and KW Connect. Go to KW Connect and search almost exactly what you're looking for. You'll find it. The search engine is getting better and better as the days go by. It's getting more acute. So use that as a resource as well. Okay. The one question that I get asked pretty frequently, and rightfully so: prep to get paid. How do we get paid? Command, compliance, and commissions. We're going to cover this, as I mentioned earlier. We're going to get through this, meat and potatoes of this, and let Chris take over at 2:30 and drive home command training this afternoon. We're going to give you guys a little break in between. Getting paid. Getting paid. Documents. Documents will be loaded into the opportunity. Now that you've created that opportunity, it's time to load your docs. A single point of reference for your entire deal can be digital in command. I don't know about you, but I don't like carrying around files. I'm not a big carrying around physical files type person. Not big on it. I don't like it. It's so much easier if I can open up command and all my files are there. We've done a few weeks back, you remember, we did workflow. We talked about what we need in a buyer side. We'll do listing side down the road. We talked about those documents. Who can run down for me some required documents that are going to be uploaded? This is where we're going to touch on compliance. Who wants to jump in and volunteer what documents are required?
I will.
A, number one. Hello.
Hey guys. I guess like required documents for compliance is your consumer notice. Yep.
Yep.
Okay. Are we doing like once we submit an offer, like if the offer is accepted, or when we're closing out the whole thing?
Let's say we're on step one. We just got a buyer. We're sitting at the table now, and we're getting ready to put an offer in.
Okay, so definitely your consumer notice, your buyer agency contract, and then if you submit the offer and if it get accepted, then you'll need all your disclosures in there, with that house, and of course your agreement, sales agreement.
Yep.
And I feel like I'm missing some
Pre-approval.
Yeah, your pre-approval or cash of funds. I mean, proof of funds.
Yep.
Is that it?
Depends. It always depends, right?
Yeah, it always depends. Yeah. There's always more. There can always be more in there, but I guess it's generally those are.
Yeah, your required documents, A, number one, period, end of story, is always your consumer notice, right? Step two is your agency agreement, your buyer's agency agreement. You definitely want to have that. And yes, a pre-approval, if you're going to put an offer in, but it's nice to have that pre-approval or work towards that pre-approval, right? To make sure we're not going on a wild goose chase of 15 showings for somebody that can't finance a ham sandwich. I mean, let's be honest. We don't want, our time is valuable. Our time is valuable. And so is theirs, quite frankly. They need to be honest with themselves too, right? So let's make sure we're doing them a service by ensuring that they're working with a broker, okay, or a lender. So consumer notice, buyer agency agreement, working towards a pre-approval. Now that we've put in an offer, talked about disclosures. Every single transaction, I don't care. This is a requirement. Every transaction needs what? Every sales transaction needs what? Well, yeah. But if you're listing a house or listing a property, every single one. Every single one. Okay? And if it's a situation, if you're on the listing side where we don't know the answers to any of these questions, it doesn't matter. They still need to sign it. They still need to date it. They need to acknowledge that they've looked at it, and they need to acknowledge that they couldn't answer any of the questions. Okay? Every single deal. Do not shortchange this, because I promise you, you won't get paid if you do. Because it is a required document in command. And quite frankly, it's a required document by the commission. Okay? So, sales contract, disclosures. What year does a house or property need to be built by or since in order to not require a lead-based paint disposal?
78, right?
1978, yes.
Paint run with paint.
Paint, yes. Yeah.
1978, lead-based paint.
1978, lead-based paint. So any property built after 1978 does not require lead-based paint disposal. Okay? That's why it's optional. If you go into command documents, you'll see what's required and what's not. And that's only optional. It's conditional, I believe, what it says. But we got to make sure we have all of our disclosures. That adds to our compliance. Okay. Now, offer has been accepted. We're going to talk about that. But first, the path to get paid. Enter contact and lead, command, and then cultivate. The lead decides to sell or buy a home, create an opportunity, submit an offer, and negotiate to come to an agreement on the property. Have all the necessary contracts, disclosures, documents signed, and then you upload them into the opportunity. Do this as you're going along. Take the time to do this as you're going along through the deal. Do not wait until the day you close to upload all of your documents. Do yourself a favor. As you're going through the transaction, upload your documents. Can anybody take a stab as to why? And I see some smiles and smirks, so I know there's people in this room that are doing it jam up style. So why don't you tell me, Allie?
I don't do the jam up style anymore.
Anymore? Why not?
Number one, because the night before closing, when I'm like, ooh, I can't wait to hand in my hand money check and get paid, and I'm like, I'm not getting paid. But number two, because then sometimes I forgot something, and it was harder to go back and get it once everyone signed the paperwork and their hands are clean of you.
Yep. Yep. The two most common mistakes or two most common forgotten things that I've seen, I'm glad you mentioned it there a second ago. Hand money, right? It's a required piece of the end of the transaction is to have a copy of that hand money check. How much fun is that to track down?
It's never fun. I've had to call other brokerages offices and like, I need it, I can't get paid.
So how can you avoid that? You're out on the road. You're not in the office, you're at home, you don't have a copy. But you have a cell phone, right? Yeah. Take a picture of it. Just take, and now some phones, at least mine's doing it now. I don't know if yours scan. You can literally scan it, and it takes a full scan of the check. Take that check for security purposes. Take that scan and email it to yourself so that you can upload it into Command and then delete it. Okay?
How do you use Earnest? Have you ever heard of Earnest?
I do. You guys out here are the only ones that use hand money.
Okay.
Oh, earnest money.
That's a Pittsburgh thing.
Yeah, earnest money. Hand money is a Pittsburgh thing. So I work with Megan like through Keystone Transactions, and she calls it earnest money. I'm like, I don't know what the sign is. Hand money.
I learned it as earnest money.
That's what it's called.
It's an app where they can like digitally, is anybody digitally processing hand money yet?
No.
There are some that are okay with that. There are a lot that are not yet.
Okay.
The security is not quite where, in my opinion, security is not quite where it needs to be for that. That's why I say if you scan it in your phone, scan it, email it to yourself, and then delete that sucker. And then get that thing uploaded into Command as quick as you can. Okay. But going along through the process as you're going, you avoid that. Chasing down, the hand money or earnest money check for those of you watching in central Pennsylvania. You want to make sure you have that as you're going. You don't want to chase it down. I've had two deals that I had tried to process for a senior agent. Didn't have a buyer's agency contract. He said I was the transaction licensee. Okay. There's a transaction licensee contract in PAR. Guess what? Not getting paid till I have it. Okay? Because we get audited. Bad news. That's fines, and that's fines. Fines, and fines plural. Okay? Nobody likes fines. How much is it worth? How much is it worth to you to not take the time to upload these documents as you're going? So take the time to do it. Take the time to do it. One step at a time. And as you will see in Command, on the left-hand side of the Opportunities tab, there is, what's it say on the left-hand side?
I don't know.
Remember?
An opportunity?
Yeah, the opportunity.
No, I wasn't paying attention.
On the left hand side of the opportunity?
Yeah.
No, it's the same thing.
The document that says consultation.
Consultation, huh?
Consultation.
Oh, I didn't know you meant in
Yep.
the document.
Yeah.
Yes, in the document section. What? Yeah. So in opportunities, go to the documents tab. What's it say on the left-hand side?
Consultation, under contract, close.
Okay. Each of those has different requirements. So you hit consultation, the requirements are
Consumer notice, buyer's agency, and the pre-qualification.
there you go. The second tab, under contract, the requirements are
Sales agreement,
sales agreement,
signed disclosure by buyer and seller.
signed, fully executed disclosures,
Handling deposit receipt.
earnest money,
Deposit receipt.
right? So a copy of that check, yeah.
Estimated costs, buyer's estimated costs.
Ah, yes. Who here has more than 2 transactions under the belt? You? How many times have you waited to do the estimated closing costs? So, we'll get to it when we get the CD. Good for you.
Oh,
Do it right away.
that goes out when we're making an offer. I have that.
Right.
No.
Estimated closing costs. If you're not sure what they are, get with me, get with a mentor agent, and let's talk about your estimated closing costs and how they should look. But remember, when you're presenting this to estimated closing costs to somebody to sign it, buyers especially, estimated. These are estimates. We don't know what closing, we don't know exactitudes on the, the closing and settlement company might have like raised their dock fee. We don't know. Title search might have gone up. Inflation. So don't just say, here's your closing cost if you want to sign that for me. It's estimated. Cover your backside. Make sure they understand these are just estimates. Now, for me, my money, I inflate those numbers because I don't want any surprises, and I don't want them to have any surprises. So when I'm talking closing costs and estimated closing costs, I'm telling them that. I'm inflating these numbers. They're going to look a lot puffier right now than they will when you get to the closing table. Okay, but a couple of days before, hopefully, you get to the closing table, the closing company is going to send us a statement of your closing costs. Make sure you go over it. Okay.
Hey, I have a question, Doug.
Yes.
So wait, just to make sure I heard you right, you're saying when it comes on to uploading the estimated cost sheet, you upload what the title gives you at the end?
No, don't wait till then.
Okay, that's what. Okay.
Yeah. So
I was like, wait a minute. I was doing it. I've been doing it wrong.
I was trying to be funny, and it ended up. I get it. I apologize. No, don't wait. Make sure you get it signed right away.
But also, so if you're working with someone who's using a loan, in my opinion, it's another good reason. I mean, you can't control who they're using, but if it's a loan officer who you've developed a relationship with, for instance, I work a lot with Todd here in our office. He automatically knows what my what the broker fee is that I'm going to include in my costs, and I tell him from the gate I'm going to be using Elite Closings. I use them a lot. He knows what Elite fee is, so having these preferred vendors, he can plug in pretty accurate numbers as to what Elite fees are, what his fees are, what my fees are, and all of that, and give you. I mean, he's usually really close on, and then if it's a cash buyer, Elite has a website and an app called Palm Agent One, like PALM Agent One. That's, I think I sent that to you. And if it's a cash buyer, you can go in and put in the address and the closing date, and it'll generate a cost sheet for you, pulling all of the tax records also. So that's a really good tool.
Yep. No, that's good. No, it's good. Those resources, and remember to check your sphere. Do you have anybody that works at a closing company? Do you have anybody that works as a broker, or maybe used to, that still has that information? Check your tax office. All good resources. All good resources. And if you don't have a pipeline, if your command contacts are not, you're not starting to populate some of that with some of those folks, start. Make those connections, especially now with lenders. Make sure you're connecting with your lenders, guys, because mortgage rates are climbing. I just had a 10-minute conversation with Todd before we started about rates. They're going up. We're at 5. So it's scary. It can be scary. It doesn't have to be. But make sure you're having open dialogue with your lenders. At least I'd say once a week, but we'll talk about that during shift training. So you got your documents loaded. Now you're going to close. In the closing tab, you have required documents are
Final Alta.
final Alta. We're closing this statement, closing disclosure. Yeah.
Pre-settlement walkthrough.
Pre-settlement walkthrough.
Checks.
Who forgets that one? Don't. Try to get it signed, and if they didn't do a pre-settlement walkthrough, try to get it signed if they wait.
I bring one to the closing table.
Yeah.
Every
I'm like,
time.
Sign it.
Yeah.
Sign it now.
Every
And then I scan it in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
every time.
Yeah.
Bring it to the closing.
And wouldn't like if they waive a home warranty, wouldn't you have to have that too?
The home warranty waiver, yes.
Yeah.
Correct. Or not waiver.
Yeah. What else we got? Checks?
Checks.
Settlement check, commission check, yes. What else?
And then the DA,
And the DA. The DA is,
the disbursement authorization
which usually comes
from Alana.
after
It's been deposited.
it's been processed. So,
Thank you.
yes.
Sword.
Okay. So run them down again for the closing. You got your Alta, your closing disclosure, your pre-settlement walkthrough, executed hopefully, and your checks. Okay. The DA is more for back end, but it's your pay stub, essentially. It is your pay stub. Now you've got all your docs loaded. Are you done?
No.
There's one more step. What is it?
Submit.
And you have to hit submit on every tab. So there's a little submit there. Off to the right, underneath, submit to MC. And that's going to ask you, are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. All right. So let's look at it.
I was
Right
about
there.
to say a walkthrough of this process would have been nice.
Right there.
I know.
Right there. So you can see back in here, documents. If it's buyer, we say buyer documents. Then you have your listed or consultation if you're a buyer. If you're a buyer, this says consultation. It says under contract, closed. Each one of those over here, I can't move that. This says submit to MC. Okay? When you click that submit to MC, and you have to do it on each tab. Again, you have to click it, submit. Yes, I'm sure. Boom. And you have to go to under contract, submit. Yes, I'm sure. Submit. Close. Same process. Submit to MC and then confirm. Okay? Why don't we? This is a question that was asked last week. If I already submitted my under contract docs, we haven't closed yet, and I got to add something to it. Can you? Yes, you can. But if there's addendums or there's something that happens that you want to go back and check a document, you can. I don't submit my docs till the end. Okay? They don't need to be. You submit them all at one shot that day. Eva gets them. Eva starts to make sure our compliance office takes a look at it. Our compliance people take a look at it. And we will be, if you're out in Altoona, we have 2 people that check compliance before it even leaves that office, before it even goes in here. Okay? Out here, we will have a compliance officer in place, somebody to check your paperwork before you submit it. If you're not sure, just ask somebody to put a second set of eyes on it. Okay? I'm always available. I'll be happy to walk you through it. Okay? Compliance is important, guys. So let's make sure that you focus on the help when you need it. Don't shy away from making that phone call. Even if it's 9 o'clock at night, call me. Call me. If I don't answer right away, I will call you back. And we'll go over it. But compliance is that important. So we'll review it. Correct any errors. If you know you're compliant before you submit, then you're not going to have to wait. Okay? You're not going to have to wait for that commission. If you submit, you're not compliant, we got to chase you down. And that's no fun because I don't want to see you guys waiting for your checks. I really don't. I hate chasing. All right? And it will get rejected because these documents that are in here that are in each of these tabs, if they're marked required, Eva cannot, it will not let her enter it into the accounting program. So it's, when we say it's literal, like literally you will not get paid. It's no one's making the personal decision. It's literal, like it will not let you get paid. Okay?
Can I say something?
Yes.
Is that new? Like that the system will allow her to move forward? Because I had a sale with it was like a condemned house.
Yeah.
And I remember there weren't really disclosures in there, you know. And I noted that because there really wasn't much to sign. If there was one, there probably wasn't all three, or probably missing one or two, whatever. As yeah, and I noted it saying, hey, that they weren't there for us to even go over, and everything went smoothly after that. So you saying now, if it's say a situation like that where it's not available to sign, it still won't?
No, you can if you note it and basically populate the folder, it will let you.
Okay.
It will let you go through. But why don't we want that to be the case? Why do we want to make sure we're compliant?
Ooh, audits.
Bite you back in the butt later, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, audits.
Yeah. That $1,000, $1,500 commission could turn into a $10,000 fine and suspension of your license. So, I mean, it's workable to get around it, but the way that Eva's been learning it, and she jumped on me a couple times. The first couple deals we turned in from Altoona. No, we're not going to skip steps. We want to make sure the documents are in there, even if you have to chase down to get a signature for a disclosure. Whatever.
That's what I was just gonna say.
Yeah.
I mean, so many times, like on condemned houses or whatever, I have just downloaded the whatever disclosure and left it blank and sent it over to the listing agent. Like, I know that you've never occupied it. I know it's condemned. I know your owner lives out of state and doesn't even know what the address is. Just have them sign this because it's a requirement.
Yep.
They sign it.
Yep. Yeah, it's not hard to chase. Don't be afraid to chase down those signatures if you need them. They'll be cool with it. It's harder, makes your life harder, but they'll do it. Document management, which system to use? DocuSign, Zip Forms, which is an integration in DocuSign, and .loop, all integratable. DocuSign, I think Darren, you messed with that before. Anybody else using DocuSign?
I use DocuSign.
Okay.
Yeah,
go ahead, Darren.
Oh, nothing. I just said I just started using it. So
is it easier to import the documents to DocuSign manually?
So you used to be able to actually connect your .loop to command also. I don't know if you still can or cannot. I have both. I still pay for .loop because I share folders with Jennifer.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so rather than downloading them to your computer, then uploading them into your command, you just click here. Look, I pulled it up for you right here where you're getting your files from, and you can do computer or command or DocuSign, and then you click the folder, and it literally just pulls up all your documents, and you just move it on over there.
Yep, it's just add document, right, or create. It's something else now. It's like create document.
Where do you see this? DocuSign. Oh. Attach files from folder,
Mm-hmm.
and then which folder do you want to use?
Scroll up.
There's oh.
Now they're off to the side here. I'm not sure why, but it says go to transaction. It connects to DocuSign.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then you can pull the transaction. Then all your files are integrated.
Yeah. So when you start a room for your stuff, start it from command.
Right.
Go start transaction, and it'll take you to the DocuSign
room.
It'll start a room, and then all of your documents will be easily pulled into it.
If we're speaking Latin to you right now, it's okay.
Yeah, a lot of
it's
things.
okay. Just take a step back. Go. All I need to know is how do I upload my documents right now. That's all I need you to worry about. Because you literally can drag and drop all of your documents. There is an add file. You just open your files on whether you use Apple or you use PC, drag it over, drop it onto the add file, and it uploads. Okay, so manually is not that hard. Using DocuSign or Dotloop is kind of cool because you can kind of get them all in there and yank them in one shot. But manually, I'll do it, man. I'll do it manually forever because I'm just making sure. Because what you know what I'm going to do? It saves time, but what I'm going to do anyway, I'm going to go and open every one of those damn files to make sure it's right. Yeah. So add them manually, drag and drop, and we'll dive deeper into that as we move along through command training. Okay, which is going to start here shortly. So we're going to get this wrapped up for you guys. Custom folders if there's extra documents. If there are extra documents or an extra step, yes, you can do this. You can add a custom folder. Is it required? No, unless it is related to, or important to your sale. Most of the time, 99.9% of the time, you're not going to need to do that. Commissions are going to come up after you've created an offer. Okay, you'll create an offer. That offers tab will open up. You just fill in the information. You review that with your client, accept the offer. Commissions tab will now become available. Commissions tab looks like that. Okay? Wish I could move that.
Move it on Alana's. Minimize it.
There we go. Yeah, thank you. Dum is right. So submit commission requests. So you're gonna, once you put in your offer, you put in how much your commission is going to be. It'll calculate it, and it'll give you these numbers off to the side. Commission, what your 6% royalty is, what your office is going to get, what you're going to get as an agent, and then the final pay to the office after everything's clean, everything's split out. Once that matches what you are comfortable with, you hit submit. It goes straight to Eva. Eva will see that submission, and she'll review everything to make sure she'll double check it. If she has any questions, she will call you and tell you, hey, go on your command, retract your commission submission. You can. When you click submit, it'll ask you if you can click it again to pull it back. Okay? If you need to make an adjustment. Okay? Then you can correct any errors you have, and boom, you're done. As long as you're compliant, following those previous steps to compliance, and you're good. Okay? I pulled this off of Connect, this training. Not a big fan of it. Not gonna lie. No, it needs to be. It needs to have screenshots. We need to get more. We need to dive into it more. So we will. But again, I don't want to go too deep with Chris. I don't know what Chris is going to bring to the table. Maybe we covered some today, and maybe she can go over a little bit more in detail, and we'll be able to get that. Get any questions you have answered. Most of this, though, we can teach this till we're blue in the face. So you're doing it.
Yeah. Are we allowed, like those of us that don't have clients or are we allowed to go in there and like
play around with it?
Yeah, like don't mess anything up.
No.
Like we create like a scenario client.
No, you can do that.
So even if we just not, because I'm one of those types. Yeah. We would just not click submit.
Technically, I wouldn't, right?
Right.
I wouldn't. You could. It wouldn't really mess anything up. It would make Eva grumpy.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, I don't like grumpy Eva.
I don't like grumpy Eva either.
Yeah, grumpy Eva is never good.
But yeah, so in DocuSign, I have a room that I labeled test, where I throw all the documents in there and I play around on them, I learn on them, then you can pull them over into your command and mess around with them. That's how I learned command when it first came out before all the videos. I don't know.
Right. But isn't it funny though that we would rather go in, frustrate the daylights out. I'm the same way. Frustrate the daylights out of ourselves by not figuring something out, rather than watch a 45-minute video that's already been prepared and set up for us.
That's how I learned.
Scott Leroy does a really good job. So that's one of your resources. Help tab is a resource. Your phone is a resource. Call us. We'll walk you through it. As you're going, have somebody help you in your first 3 or 4 anyway. If you're not on the PC program being coached by me weekly, you should be doing that. Reach out to another resource. Let's walk through your documents together. We're gonna, if you're working with me, we're gonna go down through the contracts. We're gonna go down through the disclosures. We're gonna make sure every initial box is hit. We're gonna make sure every signature's hit. We're gonna make sure every date's filled in, every day is filled in. We're gonna fine tooth comb it because I want you guys to be under the habit of being exact and being compliant every single time, not taking shortcuts. Okay, shortcuts lead to fines. Do not ever let an agent tell you that it's okay to take a shortcut. It's not. It's not okay to take a shortcut. Let's make sure we're being compliant at every turn. Okay? Compliance review, document management, getting those documents added to command as you're going through. Do not wait till the end. Save yourself the time and the headache and get them added as you're going. You look at an offer, make an offer, compare it, review it with your buyer and/or seller, submit your commission, or review your commission statement, then submit your commission request. Okay? Any questions? I'm sure there are a ton, but do you have any questions that jump out at you? Any takeaways?
You say like you'll be there to go through fine tooth because
I know it's a lot.
I've been dreading that first client, and I'm gonna be like, hey Doug, guess what? You're gonna hold my hand.
You know, I'm gonna be honest with you, and I consider myself relatively tech savvy. Truthfully, it looks like a lot, and then when you present it, it even feels like a lot.
Yeah.
When you do it 2 or 3 times, there's really nothing to it. It's a heck of a lot. I promise you. Yeah, I promise. Even if you're not, listen, even if you're not tech savvy, like if you have not been in the business for any amount of time, you don't know what it's like to drag around or keep track of 1 million files and all the documents that come flying at you in that 45 to 60-day period. Because there's a ton. This system keeps it all clean and accessible all the time when you're home. I can't tell you, last year I went to my office 3 or 4 different times because I needed to refer to something that somebody had a question on a weekend. Right? This keeps us from having and then carrying the file around is risky too because you're going to lose or misplace the paperwork. Sliding those files in there or those documents in one at a time, it's drag and drop. When you get them in there, they're there. Everything's in a centralized location. Doing 2 or 3 at a time is not, it's really, once you get the rhythm down, Darren does compliance for us in Opportunity. He's been doing it for a while. Darren, first couple were rough, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it was rough at first.
It was rough at first, but like now, I mean, it took what we were taking like 20, 25 minutes to get transactions uploaded and in. What are we doing it now and how much time?
What? Just total checking compliance and then also getting them scanned in and submitted in command? Or
no, not my, yeah. I have an extra few steps in my office because I'm anal like that. Just from the agent standpoint, uploading docs and submitting commission.
Maybe 10 minutes.
Maybe.
And like most of that is sitting at the scanner, having to scan in the documents.
Yeah. And that's him doing it for another agent who didn't upload their documents as they went. That's doing all of them at the end.
Yeah.
Right. So 10 minutes total. If you split that up, it's going to take you less than 4 minutes to put your documents in as you go. So when you have a commission, let's lay out one scenario, then we'll take a break for Chris, for when Chris starts. Imagine it's a Friday. No, better yet, it's April. Let's imagine it's Good Friday. It's 3 o'clock. You want to get paid quickly. Guess what? You didn't upload any of your documents. Guess who's not getting paid until probably Wednesday or Thursday? Reality, you. If you have your documents in, your closing's done, it's 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, your docs are in, and you have all your stuff, you just go in and hit submit, 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 submit your commission. So you're submitting 3 files and your commission, you're done. Hits Eva's desk, you're probably getting paid Monday or Tuesday instead of Wednesday or Thursday. It's the reality. So
if all your stuff is in order, Eva is very quick.
Yes. Yeah. And if she's not, there's a good reason.
Yeah.
So if there is ever a question about a commission and you don't have my phone number, get it from me now, because call me. If there's a question about the timing on a commission or the amount on the commission, call me. Okay? Let's walk through it first. Eva just transmitted. Eva is one of the busiest people that I've met, period. She's got a lot of things going on. So the last thing she needs is 14, 15 agents calling her about commissions. Okay? I would rather talk, because it might end up being something that we can look at and find together. If it is something we have to go to Eva with, I can touch up with Eva either right there, if I'm here, or via text and get you an answer. Okay? But hit me up first. Let's go through channels. Let's make sure that we're, you know, covering our bases before we rock Eva's boat. Okay? It's a busy job. That's a really tough job, guys. That job is a really tough job. So get your documents in line. Put them in a command. Okay? Any other questions? No? Yes? Okay. I'm going to stop share this. I don't know if she's coming in or not. All right. Darren, are you going to jump on Chris's?
I was going to go get a workout in.
All right. You go get your workout in.
Alrighty.
Amanda, did you get the link for Chris Keller's command training?
Is it in the internet calendar?
Yeah, it's
Yes.
on my calendar.
Okay. I got on that.
Yeah, she's.
All right. Then we'll see you there.
All right, toodles.
Doodle.
Hi, Amanda.
Hey, Dad.
Yeah.
Are you coming? Are you staying there?
I don't know yet. I'm
Hold on one
I have
second.
a few things to do here. Then I'm gonna try to get back for her doctor's appointment.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
See ya.
Yeah.